woken up to a very different set people must what the start of a political crisis.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades. You must stay at home.
Imagine if opportunity wasn't limited to finance or background. What would our society look like if the next generation were believed in? If opportunities were created for them and they could be exposed to environments they never thought possible? All of this can be empowered and supported by the leaders of a generation. Yeah, that's right, I mean you. This day is for you. The CEOs, the educators, the parents, the influencers, the youth leaders and the young person. Join the conversation, join the journey, and together we can make a difference.
Hello and welcome to the second day of Young Leaders Lab 2020. You are back with us. My name's Dan Watson.
I am McLaren Lewis. My goodness, I can't wait for today because how good has it been already?
Yeah, man, if you missed out on yesterday's session, then I want to encourage you, go back to the YouTube channel, find it somewhere there, scroll through. It was incredible. Anna Loback.
Wow.
Gary Clark.
Goodness me.
It just keeps getting better. And today has been no different, right?
No, really, it really hasn't. It's been amazing.
We've had breakouts all throughout the day. We've had breakouts specifically if you're involved in ministry, if you're a young person. But we've also had breakouts if you're involved in, we called it the industry, professional,
focus,
education, the arts world, all sorts of different things.
It was all going on.
It's been amazing. I want to just give you a little glimpse of what some of those breakouts were like, just in case you didn't get to be a part of any, or you only got to be a part of one. Why don't we take a look?
In your early stages of leadership, your environment will shape you more than you shape it. The environment that you get into is really important.
From this job to that job, this business to that business, they do this, they do that, they're all over the place. What God really wants in our lives is stability.
What you listen to will feed your minds. Now, this is so key because in a world of social media, I mean, everyone has something to say about everything. It's like, wow. The most important thing that you can be is selective.
It provides a platform for young people to be open, for walls to come down, for them to hear the gospel, the good news. We use methods like that. Like I said, the message is the same, but the methods are different.
I think what we can do is get better at creating opportunities for our young people, but to disagree well, as you said, and to have opportunities to debate and discuss and have robust conversations with one another.
The generosity of spirit changes the way you respond to other people's reactions.
Just remember that you're playing your part. Just keep the main thing, which is, you know, I'm doing this so people connect to Jesus. That is literally what I'm doing, and you know, it's not about me.
He works completely different than I work. When I'm saying something, I'm thinking something completely different than he is. But it is my job to help him understand the way that I think, and then it's his job to help me understand what he thinks.
If anybody on this Zoom wants to help facilitate work with Creative, there's like 90% of what you do will be unseen. Moving things in darkness for people to walk into a light-filled room and be like, everything in here looks really nice. Yeah, it does look really nice. I'm pretending like that didn't cost me everything. Anyone that wants to help facilitate artists needs to understand and also
incredible. Well, listen, if you didn't get to be a part of one of those breakouts, then do not worry, because what's going to happen, those breakouts are going to be aired on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel throughout the weeks to come. So be a part of it. But watch parties, Mecca.
Watch parties. They've been going on across the country this week, which has been so much fun. In fact, Dan, we've got a watch party in on things right now.
Another one?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
They're watching and they're partying.
They're watching and they're partying. I think these are a crazy bunch of people. Why don't we put them up on the screen? Here they are.
Hoi.
Watch party, massive. Hello. Give us a wave, guys. Amazing. Where's Isaac Johnson? Where are you? You're in like the seaside. This is incredible. Deborah, is that San Francisco? Wow, sunning it up in San Francisco.
No, London.
What bridge is that in London? That's amazing. I want to go to that bridge, please.
Brilliant.
Jesse, you sat there with McLaren.
That was a good trip. Me and Jesse.
In Rome, you know.
You and Macca in Rome. Yeah,
beautiful.
It's the best. Hey, Jonathan, what's been your highlight of Young Leaders Lab so far?
I would say I was on the session this morning that was this afternoon about the teaching, and it was really good because it's something I'm doing as like a job part-time, so it was really inspiring, some really useful information. So it wasn't something I was expecting to do, but yeah, I think it was really good to just empower me to kind of go into a new season. So yeah, it was
fantastic,
really worth going to.
Amazing. Yeah. And Tumi, what about you?
Yeah, I really loved the leadership session in the morning. That was really amazing. There were so many tools that was really great to reflect on, as well as the finance session. I think obviously we did two, but both of them were amazing. So really good.
Incredible. Macca, did you jump into a breakout today?
Yeah, I actually got to jump into a few with you. We were sneaking in there every now and again.
Yeah, being a little bit naughty.
Indeed. So much gold going on all over the place. It's good to see some faces.
Amazing. Well, guys, listen, thanks so much. God bless. See you soon. Peace out. It's been fun. Enjoy the rest of the night. Well, listen, McLaren, you had a conversation this week, right?
Yes, I did.
A couple of days back with a couple of people. Tell us about that conversation.
Oh, yeah, I had a great time with our friends Peter, Togs, and Tim Summers. You would have seen them in the breakouts. But yeah, we had a conversation about the art of communication.
Yeah.
And it was so appropriate that it was those two guys, because it was gold.
It was insane. And you know, in 2020, we've had to adapt and mold the ways that we communicate, our methods of communication. And we've had to look at, what's the most effective way to reach young people right now, to speak into young people's lives, to build and develop. And those two guys, absolutely incredible. Peter is our global youth pastor across the globe. Yeah. This is live. So he's that, and so he gets to be able to speak into that, needs to try and craft that art, if you put it that way. And Tim Summers is the youth pastor of Elevation Church in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Is it North Carolina or South Carolina?
North
Carolina.
I Googled that.
You Googled it. Okay.
True.
Fantastic. So he's the youth pastor over there, and just a brilliant communicator, not just on the microphone, but just one-on-one with people, just online presence, all that kind of stuff. Well, listen, we got a few of our guys over here, a few of our YXYA team.
Yes, we do indeed.
Who have to communicate in so many different ways, so many different forms. I wondered if you could just go and chat with those guys.
I would love to.
Real quick about the art of communication, especially
socially distanced,
in 2020. Yeah, exactly. And that is an art as well.
2020.
All right, make your way over. And guys, you doing okay?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Thanks.
Here we go. Good to see everyone over here. We've got Maureen Moores, we've got Antonio Ngonga, we've got Ellie Harris, and we've got Jake Moores. Same surname. There's something going on there.
Very far from it.
Called marriage. I love it. I love it. I love it. Am I in shot? I'm not currently in shot right now. There we go.
Wow.
We love to see it. We love to see it. I just want to make sure all of us are healthy and everything like that. So the art of communication. Like we were saying, we had a great conversation this week about what the art of conversation looks like. And one of the points that was brought up was the fact that art is something that always changes. It changes according to people's different tastes, the times, all of that kind of stuff. And so that's why we call the conversation the art of communication, because there's so many different mediums and ways to be able to do that. And like Dan said, you guys have to articulate stuff in different spheres of influence and everything. Maureen, you work for the Prince's Trust.
I do, yeah.
As well as being our fuel director at the minute. Antonio, you're a part of the YXYA team looking after wildlife, which is our 14 to 18 age group. Ellie, doing so much across the board with, looking after stuff with our conference here this week, social justice, as well as families involved in that team. So there's a whole bunch of communication over here. Then we've got Jake Moores, and you've been looking after the comms, the media side of things, the education collective, a whole bunch of different things going on at the same time. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask a few questions. We've got a couple of minutes to be able to chat through the art of communication. And one of the three questions, I'm going to ask you three questions. 2020 has been insane, right? There's been changes. In fact, I'm hearing there's changes this afternoon that we've been hearing about, which is crazy. I didn't actually watch it, but this is probably going to pose even more difficulties with the question I'm about to ask, or maybe it'll pose some opportunities. And that's actually my question. This year, what opportunities have you found in this season to be able to communicate to the people that you're serving and looking after? Anyone can go.
I can kick off because part of what I oversee is what we do in schools, why I'm telling you. But we've done some assemblies, and actually these assemblies, usually it's just in one room, classroom, whoever turns up to school that day. Whereas now it's gone from the assembly hall to now, in classrooms. Mm-hmm. And you're speaking to maybe there's 20, 30 kids in one room.
Yeah, right.
But now there's a laptop in there as well, which streams out to not only the other students in that school, but they were telling us if people are ill and at home, they can now tune in. There's another school they partner with over the road. They can now tune in. So I think as much as it's not cool that we have to do it all online, there's been so many other opportunities open up just in that small example there. I've noticed that. It's cool.
Yeah, that's good. Really good.
That's cool. I think when it comes down to communication, I think the key is the best communication is if I can listen, if I can be listened to, I'm in. I'm ready to have that communication.
Yeah.
And I've found now that people want to be listened to more than ever. So I've found the FaceTimes or the phone calls, like young people are picking up more than ever, or colleagues or people I lead are picking up more than ever because they want to be listened to more than ever. So I think that's been a cool conversation or a cool kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think I found that the calls, like you're saying, that we're having, they're so much more intentional than what they were, because I think a lot of the time you'd see people on a Sunday, but you'd just pass by, you'd say like hi to them, and that was it. Whereas now you're actually making a point of like communicating with people, of like ringing them up, checking them in. It feels like any communication we do now is so much more intentional than what it was before.
Yeah. Just to add on that, obviously the intentionality to it is no longer surface level.
Yeah.
Because before there was so much happening that you can just talk about so much of nothings. Yeah. But then all of a sudden, because everything's been taken away from you, especially like at the height of lockdown where we were all locked in at home, it's like, no, like, how are you really doing? And now all of a sudden, you actually start to talk to a young person at where they are and not because of what you need them to.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that often, obviously, us doing youth is something that we can get caught up in doing.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, I need you to do this, so we build a relationship. But all of that's been stripped off. Now it's just literally like, I want to get to know who you are as an individual.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of the beauties that's popped out this season.
Yeah, I think there's so much gold in what you guys have said, because even though we're in a time where isolation is the way of life, it's actually posed a whole bunch of opportunities to be able to connect and connect beyond the surface level of ticking a box because someone's there, but you actually have to be intentional.
Yeah.
So it's not that there isn't opportunities, but it's actually that we have to be intentional about stepping into what those opportunities look like, which is very important when it comes to, working with young people, because we've got to be listening to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, so second question. Now, I feel like this one we could go on for years about, but we don't have that much time. What has been your what's been the frustration about communicating in this season? Don't all go at once.
I could start, to be honest.
Yeah,
So personally, if you know me, I'm a bad texter. Like, I just use my phone to play Candy Crush and to scroll through memes on Instagram.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that is me. Like, I feel like I'm more of an extrovert, so I thrive like, yo, let's go out to get Nando's and there's 20 of us. That's where I feel like I'm most comfortable. That's when I feel like my best. But now all of a sudden, that's been stripped away. Obviously, I can only go with 6 people who live in my house, which we can actually do. But so that's been a frustration. It's been quite hard. But at the same time, it's actually been quite good, because in a setting like this, often you can't actually have those intentional conversations that we've been speaking about.
Right.
So now it's been a frustration for me in a way, but it's also been good, because I feel like there's been quite a lot of the boys that we've managed to actually get closer now, because we've had smaller circles and more intimate type of conversations about life.
Great, man. So even in the frustration, you found some opportunities. But has anything been frustrating for you?
I think frustrating, or maybe like a reality check, is that, like, say, for example, you would have seen people all the time. So like Antonio was saying, you would have been like, oh, hey, how are you? Or da-da-da. And then the frustration, or almost like, slap in the face, is that it's actually now awkward for me to call you because I've not checked in on you, or I've not called you because I was so used to saying hi before. But now I feel like, oh, I've not actually communicated with that person in so long.
Yeah.
So I think that's the awkwardness, that sometimes we need to just go, do you know what, I'm so sorry I've not been there, or I've not actually called you. So I think that's been frustrating, because you get a check on yourself and you're like, oh, I've not been great at this. But then you just need to get over yourself and actually, because it's for the good of the other person. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Of course.
It's just the whole thing of like, it's the whole thing of like, the friendship of convenience is kind of gone out the window, innit? It's like, before it was convenient because obviously I saw you every Sunday, so now we're friends. But now that convenience is gone, so I have to actually make an effort regarding our friendship. Anyways, drop that there.
I think frustration has been literal the connection issues. You know, when your Wi-Fi goes out, but you think it's everyone else, because everyone else is messing up, and then you realise,
last night.
It's always you.
It is always me. It happens a lot. But I do think at the same time, people are more used to jumping on the phone. Like for me and my family, we could never really get together. We live all over the UK, like not too distant, but we'd always struggle to find a time to sit down, chat to each other. Whereas now Zoom is just like, it's easy. Every other month, we're now just all like, should we jump on a Zoom? Everyone's so used to it now.
Yeah.
So I think it has, there's frustrations in that whole Zoom culture, but it's taken us to another level of how easy is it to now just do a remote meet and how easy is it to communicate remotely with people. I think that will actually take us to a whole another level.
Yeah. Anything from you, Ellie, in your world?
I think one of my things has been kind of keeping that momentum going. So I think when we first started this, especially lockdown, we were all like, yep, Zoom was awesome. It was so new, like everyone jumped on it. We were great. And then, but keeping the momentum of keeping that communication and finding new ways and new things to do. So it's not just the, hey guys, let's just do a check-in once a week. I think that's been quite difficult. And obviously we're now probably entering into a new season where we really need to remember that we need to keep going with this. But yeah, I think that has been frustrating, but there's ways around it.
No, yeah, I do think whether it's in a relationship where it's work related or socially, there's been so many frustrations. Although in that, I think there is a bit of a realization of what's actually important and who's actually important. So maybe we're in a place where we need to actually refocus about the things that are important in life and pursue those things.
Yeah, it's great.
So that the opportunities that come from the frustrations can be things that we take advantage of, especially when it comes to looking after our young people. Last question, and I think this is a good one, but what's been the most effective way to communicate in this season?
I'll go.
Please do.
I find in say, I'll just go with what I do, so work with young people or like lead people. Without this season, before this season, the best way I find having a conversation with somebody is doing something. So it's not just having a coffee with them, it's actually doing a physical act, whether it be cooking together or whether it be doing playing a game. And I think that concept still stays the same. So it's like doing something rather than just FaceTiming someone. Actually, just for example, I call my mum and we cook together and she teaches me how to cook, and we've never had a stronger relationship than actually right now with the boundaries in place. So I think for me, doing an activity really works.
Yeah, great.
For real. I would definitely say that obviously there's no one shoe fits all. It depends on the circumstance, the situation, but I can totally agree with that. I've had the best conversations on Call of Duty chats. Some random kid probably knows about all my life, but that's a setting, you know, because obviously we have some great conversation on Call of Duty chats. But then often also one thing that's been good, obviously, is just going for a walk with people. It depends who I'm talking to. Obviously, we do youth, and Zoom has been, you know, a bit of a nightmare sometimes, but other times it's actually been a blessing on being able to have all the people facing you at once rather than the FaceTime when it's like small and very frustrating, or house party when people invite themselves to your room and things like that. So I guess it's just depending on who you're talking to, the setting and what you're doing. And I feel like each person has their own identity, so then the identity requires a different type of feeding in order for them to listen and feel heard.
Yeah, because even in one of the breakouts I overheard today, Tim Summers was talking about this generation being the publishing generation, putting yourself out there. But then on the other side of that, actually being able to go old school and pick up the phone and have a conversation about what's been published has presented such an effective way not only to communicate, but to have a conversation. And I know this week, Jake, or in the near future, you and the young creatives are having a bit of a conversation about things going forward. Tell us about that.
Being Young Leaders Lab, I know yesterday we referenced it a little bit with the artistic world and how there's struggles of people now really getting into that, whether it's photography, graphic design, performing arts, music, all that sort of stuff. But something we're kicking off soon is Young Creatives, which I'm really excited for. So this is really an opportunity, and as we speak, people taking these photos in the studio right now fit in that young creative bracket, and really for people any age, youth, young adults, stepping into space where they can actually learn from people who are doing it professionally, just be trained in it, be mentored through that, and just creating all this space where actually maybe it's a hard industry to get into or hard to learn the skills. Everyone's on their phone these days. You can kind of give any youth a phone, they can edit a photo.
Yeah.
And it looks great. But
sign me up.
Sign you up.
How?
Sign people up.
How do we do it?
Yeah, head to the website. There might be a QR code that's going to come up. That'll take you to a team page. Under there, it says creative. And then when it says creative there, then just click on there, sign up, and then we'll be in contact with you there. We'll get an email. So yeah, we'd love to have you a part of Young Creatives. As a young person wants to get involved, or if you can give people opportunity, go ahead and do that. We'd love to see you there.
Indeed. What have we got next tonight, Jake?
Yeah, so now we're going to head into a time, just a song. We've got Josh and Tori, so they got this song, Highs and Lows. So guys, over to you, take it away.
When it feels like the dark lingers longer in the night, when the shadows feel like giants, are you chasing me down? Tell me where could I run from your light? Where could I hide? And within your precious thoughts, there's no hiding from your love. Highs and lows, Lord, you're with me either way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Even so, Lord, your mercy is an even flow. You're too good to let me go. Should I dance on the heights or make my bed among the depths? Your mercy waits at every end, like you planned it from the start. Should the dawn come with wings or find me far side of the sea, lay your hand still fastens me ever closer to your heart. Oh, highs and lows, you surround me the way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Lord, you're with me through it all. Oh, highs and lows, in the rhythms of your grace I know. Should I rise or should I fall? You are with me through it all. Too good to let me go.
Nice one. Thanks, guys. You guys sound great, don't you? Sound amazing. No, it's not that anyone's surprised. You always sound fantastic. Listen, Macca, how good was that conversation?
Oh, I had a great time.
Mate, it was a great conversation. Thank you, guys. Going to keep you involved in the conversation as we go on. And listen, that convo that we just had is on the back of a conversation, like we said, that we had with Tim Summers and Peter Toggs this week. And again, over the next couple of weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to release that conversation so you can take a look at it and just be a part of it. And there are so many gold bombs. If we just want to, like,
Just
like, you're good at sound effects. My friend Helder is really good at sound effects. If you ever want sound effects, then just ask Helder. But listen, there were so many gold bombs within that. And we're nearly finished up with Young Leaders App. And here's the thing, here's what I want us to grab. Young Leaders App is way more than a conference. It's way more than just a 2-day event. It's actually, if we want to put it like this, it's actually a movement. It's actually a journey that we're saying we're committing to going on. We're committing to be a part for making a good difference, a positive difference in young people's lives.
Yeah, I think the way you guys hit on it last night in your conversation was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's a church or a community with people who look after the young people, but we just represent who us as a church are when it comes to the next generation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what I want to do is, at the beginning of this, what we did is we sat down as a team and we said, there's always a little theme that we make something up. Do you know what I mean? These little titles that we create.
This is a good one, though. I like this one a lot.
This is a great one because I actually I believe in them all. But I actually really believe in this one because we was trying to think, what is it? What's the new? And we came up with this, and maybe you would have seen it, but the title, the theme of this year's conference, excuse my writing, is same, but different. The same, but different. Because what it is that we're trying to achieve has never changed.
Right.
But how we go about it, and I think 2020 has taught us so much, is that we have got to go have the same mission, but things are different, right? It all looks a little bit different. If I was to break it down like this, I'm just trying to pick a good color, pink, because I got pink socks on today. Don't know if you can see.
Wow.
Antonio,
Right.
are you proud of me?
Very
proud, Dan.
I got pink socks on just for you.
Very proud, Dan.
Because you didn't buy me any socks, so it's okay.
Socks have been quite the hot topic here.
Socks have been the hot topic. Listen, I think it's popping off on the old YouTube channel. Socks are popping off. Who knows what that means? But listen, same, but different. And for us as a church who is all about young people, I'm not going to say a youth ministry, but us as a church who is all about young ministry, there are 4 things that have remained the same. Okay, if I was to write this down, here we go. My bad writing is coming back. This is the thing.
No, you've done this before.
I had a little practice earlier to see if I could actually write. Our message, have I spelled that correct?
Yes, you have, yeah.
Good. Our message has remained the same. Our message has remained the same. I'm going to go through it in a minute, but our message has remained the same. Our goal has remained the same throughout all the years that I've been a part of this church, throughout all the years that I've been a Christian and have been in the Word of God. The goal remains the same. And here's the thing, what I've realized as well about just life is challenges. Challenges are the same. Did you know that everybody goes through challenges?
Yes, I did.
Like, newsflash, bam.
Because I've been there.
You've been there.
And I've been there sometimes when you've been there too.
Yeah, and like I'm there. Do you know what I mean? Like we all face challenges in our world, and this is the 4th thing, is the resource. Now this is the bit you go, well, no, our resources changes. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Our message is never ever going to change. Our message is never ever going to change. If we're going to be about young people, then our message is always the same. We want to get a message to young people, and that message is Jesus.
It's a very good message.
It's the best message. It's the only message that we could ever want to get across is Jesus, because we believe this. We believe that Jesus is the only one who can truly change and transform lives. And so everything that we embark on as a church, all right, is about getting this message of Jesus to young people, getting this message of Jesus to a world who so desperately needs him, this message of hope, of love, of redemption. I love what Anna was talking about. When we allow the conversation, we allow redemption. But when we cut off the conversation, there's no room for redemption. So if we're trying to get this message of Jesus to a world and to young people who so desperately need him, then we got to allow the conversation. So Jesus is our message. That's one thing that has never changed in 2020. I know so many things have changed, and whatever Boris has just said, just like we said, we haven't seen the update yet, but whatever Boris has said, 2020 is still all about getting the message of Jesus to young people.
Yeah.
Our goal as a church, just as Gary unpacked yesterday, is this, that we want to be a church that is made up of all different people from all different spheres of life, from all different age groups, from all different backgrounds, that we are all about these things, that we go, listen, we understand we can get this message of Jesus to young people if we create great environments for people.
Right.
How's that, Ryan? It's getting worse and worse and worse.
I thought it was getting better and better.
I appreciate you, McLaren. If we create environments for people, if we genuinely believe in young people, let me just break this down a little bit. Believing in young people isn't just saying, tapping them on the back and going, hey, you're awesome. Hey, you're amazing. That's like, sometimes that's really patronizing.
Yeah.
Believing as young people is actually going, I'm going to invest into you, right? You're going, I'm going to give time to you, going to give energy to you, going to give resource to you. I'm going to demonstrate my love to you. You're not going to be an irritant to me, but in fact, you are what I want to be able to build up.
Yeah,
and so I'm going to believe in you. And I love that we are a church here in Hillsong, UK, that isn't just a church that says that we believe in people, but we demonstrate that we believe in people. I love this. Our goal is that we want to provide role models. Role models. The thing is with this, right? Instagram, social media, we're not sure of role models.
Right.
We're not sure of role models. Role models are simply people that you look up to. Role models are simply people that you aspire to be like. And so often those role models are so far removed. They're so distant. All you see is a glimpse of their life at a distance.
Right.
But I think the beauty of what we could provide to young people in our church is we could go, listen, we're going to provide role models, not just from a distance, but with proximity.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good.
Role models that you can go and have a coffee with if you drink coffee. Like every Christian should drink coffee. Chris Sanchez, that's for you. Every Christian should drink coffee. But we've got role models that you could have a coffee with, role models that you can speak to, role models who are going to provide great environments, who are going to believe in you, and they're going to pour into your life, that we're going to go, as a church, we could be great role models.
Because that's the beauty of that,
Yeah.
is that, you know, there's the African proverb where it talks about it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
But in today's society, that's actually so true.
Yeah.
Because a young person interacts with their teacher, with their parents, with us as youth leaders, but they also interact with their friends.
Yeah.
So it's important that when the role models are actually interacting, that we are that positive influence that actually articulates what a hope and a future could look like, because we've been there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And the last thing here is opportunity. Opportunity.
Wow.
Opportunity. I got that spelling right. That we're about people that are going to create opportunity for young people. And I love that if you listen to the start of Young Leaders App, there's this little opener, if you want to call it that. And it goes through this narrative and it talks about this Young Leaders App, this culture, this mission, this goal is not just for the youth leader, but it is for everybody. It's for the CEO, it's for the person in education, it's for the parent, it's for the person in finance, it is for the person who is a youth leader, who is a youth worker, who is a friend, who is a brother, who is a sister. This mission, this goal is for everybody if you choose to accept.
Yeah, great.
The challenge remains the same, because this is the thing, we all go through life.
Yeah.
Life hits all of us.
Yes, indeed it does.
And so the challenge that you faced at 17, at 15, another young person is going to face a challenge at 17 and 15. I'm going to go on in a minute because you're going to go, those challenges aren't the same. Exactly. But we're going to move on in a minute to that. So life hits us all. Every single person, whether they show it or whether they don't show it, is facing some sort of challenge. Some challenges are more visible to the human eye than other challenges. But we got to realize and recognize that everybody goes through life and life hits people in different ways. The resource is the same resource. The resource is not money. The resource is not electronics. The resource is not materials. But the resource that we have is people. To achieve what we want to achieve.
Dan.
Go.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Thank you. You guys agree? Yeah, okay, good. It's good. To achieve what we want to achieve, to make a great difference in our world, in our society, is money will help. Yeah, the materials will help, but it's going to take living, breathing people to go, hey, here I am. Right. I want to be a part of making a difference in our generation. I love that Pastor Gary yesterday, he said, you know, what we've done is we've broken up the different generations by their age groups, and we put definitions over them. And what it's become is a little bit of maybe like a little bit of a battle going, well, this generation is like this and this generation is like this. Maybe if we just took a step back and we said, we are all part of this generation.
So good, man.
And if I help you, that's helping me.
Yeah.
And if you help me, it goes back and forth. But the same resource is people. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Stays the same. Here's what is the same, but different. The message remains the same. Jesus is our message. But we have realized in 2020, the methods of communication, just as we talked about, has to change. Yeah. And so our message is the same, but our method has to change.
Right.
Hello.
So when you're communicating to young people, when you're communicating to people in the world, we can't be thinking about what we have always done before. We have to be embracing the new, the now, and going, how do I take what is here to be able to communicate and help a generation? You asked that question. What was the third question that you asked? Or the second question you asked?
The most frustrating
thing.
Indeed.
Okay, if I was to answer that question, which I did on that video, which is going to come out.
Can't wait for it.
I said the two most frustrating things for me is the fact that we can't meet face to face everybody. I just love seeing people, man. Like if you're watching, I just miss your face. I can see the watch party here. Deborah, looks like you're having a great time in San Francisco. Billy, you laid back, relaxed. Jonathan, give me a smile, please. My gosh, it is amazing. But listen, we can't all meet face to face. That's so frustrating. But my other frustration is this.
It's not in this country.
Is that there are so many people who are trying to hold on to what was and trying to get back to what was and the methods of what was. And if we was to go, let's just realize where we are now.
Right. No,
Right.
Let's just realize the time that we find ourselves in now, and let's embrace that to be able to communicate this message of Jesus to the people who so desperately need it.
Great.
If we could do that, it would be incredible.
Yeah,
Our goal,
especially in a time like this where everything is ever changing. This isn't something that we have to do once, but I feel like it's something that I have to remind myself all the time.
Yeah.
Is I can't fall back into the trap of, oh, this is how things work now because they work like that 10 years ago.
Sure.
Actually, these are the challenges. Let me face them.
Yeah.
And this is how I need to today.
It's amazing. It's so true, man.
Thank you.
And if we was to move on to the goal. So the goal is the environment, to believe in people, to be a role model, to provide opportunity. Well, what's different in this? Well, the difference is the pathways in which all of this can take place. Now, before, you may have gone, well, I would have just been around a bunch of young people. I would have come to church on a Sunday and I would have just seen young people and I would have had that 5-minute chat with that young person to be a great role model in their life, to give them that pep talk, to say you're awesome and all that kind of vibe. And now we don't get to meet in the building. So how do I still be a role model in someone's life?
It's a good question.
We got to be able to think outside of the box and go, what pathways am I going to use now to reach the goal that I want to get this message to them?
Yeah.
And if we go like this, we always talk about it. This is our team. We always talk about this. We don't just put it as black and white. We go, if we create filters, these are the filters. This is what we're trying to achieve. If we understand what we're trying to achieve, then we could take different pathways to get there as long as we can filter it through what are we trying to do.
Really good, Dan.
If we take this approach in youth ministry, if you take this approach to just helping young people genuinely, or being a young person, you go, okay, let me filter it through this. I'm trying to achieve this. So what do I need to think about? What do I need to do?
Right.
And these are our pathways. How do we get there? Challenges in life. Like I said, we all face challenges. The challenges that we face is life. Life hits us in so many different ways, but what we got to understand is different. And this is where we talk about, having empathy for people, having compassion for people. What did Gary say yesterday? What did he say? He said you got to be able to have tolerance.
Right. Yeah.
Tolerance for young people, because you go, well, I went through tough times
Exactly.
in my life, but you go, yeah, we've all had life. But the way tough times are hitting young people today are different to the way that hit us when we were younger.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm not going to give my age away, guys, but this is what would happen. If I had a tough day at school, I could come home and I didn't have a phone.
Right.
We didn't even have a computer.
Yeah.
I could switch off for however long, my mind could refresh,
Right.
and I could be back in a good place.
Yeah, wow.
But so many young people these days, they will go to school, they could face challenges of tough times where they're at, go home, they've got their phone, they've got the computer, they've got the internet. Every challenge, every tough time follows them in every area and place of their life, which is hard to escape, which means that young people don't have a release or don't have a break. And that has a mental effect on their lives. And so we got to understand it's different.
Just like you were talking about with Anna, with the challenges that come with cancel culture, not only for the person who's been cancelled, but actually the psychological effect of the person who's doing the cancelling.
100%. So these are outworked in different expressions. So the challenges may be the same, but it's expressed differently. It could be outworked in different intensities. The way that you felt that challenge back in your day is different to the way a young person could feel that challenge right now. And it just could feel different, because the times have changed. We got to understand that the times have changed, and so it could feel different. So this is what it is. And the last thing is resource. The same thing remains the same, resource. And the resources that we have are people. But the difference is we look at history and we go, in that day, it was like that. In that day, it was like that. In that day, it was like that. But that was a different generation. This is the thing. We are a different generation. And if we want to see something incredible take place in our time, in this generation, whilst Gary was saying, if you're living and you're breathing, you're part of this generation, it is going to take a different mindset to go, listen, I'm going to be part of the change. I'm going to be part of the solution to go, we can see change, a positive impact in our world.
Right.
Same message, same goals, same challenge, same resources. Jesus is our message. We're going to create environments for people. We're going to believe in young people. We're going to be role models for young people. We're going to create opportunity for young people. We believe that life happens, but Jesus is the answer to all that. And his way of working it out in people's lives are his people.
Right.
I love all of this.
So good.
But this is the thing that I want to finish on before we just sing one more song. And I love this scripture, man. I love this story. I love this account. And it's in John. And it's just like this whole moment, if you could just read past it, you could skip past it if you wanted to, but the way that I picture it in my head is that Jesus is just shouting at these disciples. Like he's just chatting to this Samaritan woman at a well. The guys have gone off to get some food. He comes back and they're all there and they're like, Jesus, if you eat, and he's like, I don't need that food. I got different food. But then he talks about this, right? He says this. He says, the disciples said, my food, Jesus says, is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Don't you have a saying? So grab this part. Don't you have a saying? It's still 4 months until harvest. So here's what he's saying. He's saying, listen, you're looking at what you used to do. You're looking at all the traditions, all the old ways, all the old methods. You're trying to get back to the old ways, to all the ways that happened back then. But he's saying, you got that saying, but I'm telling you, yo, dummy. It's not in the Bible, I'm just putting that, paraphrasing. But he says this, I tell you, open your eyes. Open your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, this is the part I imagine Jesus just shouting at the guy, open your eyes, dumb. Just write that on the chat. Open your eyes, dumb. I love saying that. Open your eyes and look at the fields. They are ripe for harvest. You see, if God has said it, if God is in it, we don't have to go through the old ways and the old methods to achieve what he's trying to achieve, to do what he's trying to do. What he's saying is, hey, can you just open your eyes? Can you just think outside the box? What we're trying to do has never changed. But I just need a generation that is going to think of some new methods, embrace some new pathways, and have some compassion, love, empathy for a generation that so desperately needs this message of Jesus. I believe this, Young Leaders Lab. I believe that we are that generation.
Yeah.
I believe that we can be the ones to bring a positive change, to embrace all of this and go, listen, I'm going to open my eyes to not just see what has always been, or not just see what I've always been told, but God, what are you saying? God, what are you trying to teach me in 2020? What new ways, new pathways, new methods are you trying to teach this generation so that we can be an effective generation to the people around us? I believe that God wants to open your eyes and give you new ways in every way that you do life, and just go, listen, my best days are not behind me, but my best days are definitely in front of me, God. And I just want to listen, open my eyes right now to all that you've got to say so we can be this generation that reaches young people for Jesus. I believe that the narrative of what they say about young people in our society can completely change.
Come on.
And I hope you believe it too.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not just a feeling or just a yeah, that's good. But I hope there's this authenticity that goes, you know what, I believe it.
Yeah.
And we know what we said about people who believe it, they demonstrate it. And listen, if you want to be part of this, let's call it the movement, if you want to be part of this journey, you want to go and listen, I don't know yet what methods could change in what I'm doing. I don't know how I could change my pathways, but I'm up for the challenge. Well, why don't you get in contact with us? Because we want to do this journey together.
Right.
And so, I don't know, somewhere on the screen is going to be a QR code, hopefully, before the time that we finish. And you can just scan that to get in contact with us so we can communicate with you and go, let's do this together. Let's learn new ways together. Let's be a part of this journey together. Hey, listen, Young Leaders, we love you. I'm going to pray, and then we'll sing, and then we'll come back in a minute just to wrap up. So, Father God, I thank you for who you are. God, I thank you for every single person who is watching and who is listening under the sound of my voice, God. Lord God, I pray, will you be with us? Will you speak to us, God? Will you open our eyes to new ways, to the ways that you see stuff, God, to the ways that you see a generation, the way that you see young people, God. Lord God, I pray, will we be so effective in our society because you are at work in us, Jesus. We thank you for who you are. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
My heart a storm, clouds raging deep within. The Prince of Peace came bursting through the wind. The violent sky held its breath, and in your light I found rest. Tearing through the night, riding on a storm, staring down the fight. My eyes found yours, shining like the sun, starting through my fear. The Prince of Peace met me there.
to my heart. The violent cross, the empty grave, and in your light I found grace. Turning through the night, riding on the storm, staring down the fight. My eyes found yours, shining like the sun, striding through my feet. The Prince of Peace met me there. Be still, my
Man, I love that song, Dan.
Mate, and they sang that so nicely, Abby and David.
They not.
Well done. Good job, guys.
Yeah, so good. Hey, listen, if you're watching, you're included in that message. It's not a message for someone else. It's not for a message for a business leader. It's a message for you. There's so many ways that you can be a part of this movement that we're calling Young Leaders Lab. And the best way to be a part of that is, like Dan said, just scan the QR code and we'll get in touch with you. And if you're a youth pastor, if you're a young adults pastor, we've actually got a whole bunch of stuff that you can be a part of, where you can join the conversation here with Dan, Gary, the team. And it's not that we've got all the answers, but we're just creating an environment where we can have the conversation. So there's a whole bunch of that coming up. So if you scan the QR code, you're a youth and young adult pastor, just make sure that in the notes of your form, you let us know that you want to be a part of the network, Dan.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of Young Leaders Lab, man. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed being a part of everything that's happened. And like we said, if you missed out on any parts, then on the YouTube channel over the next few weeks, there's going to be different videos coming out from the different breakouts, the different sessions, the songs, conversations, all of that stuff. But
all the good stuff.
We're going to do this again next year. Every single year, because we are committed to bringing a positive change to young people and trying to just get on this journey together. So stay tuned for everything that's happening with Young Leaders Lab 2021. I can't believe we're saying that, 2021.
Wow,
It's
we're nearly
Christmas.
there. Indeed, who knows this Christmas we're gonna have.
I know. And I just got word that Boris hasn't made his announcement yet. But listen, whatever it is, I'm just praying for peace over your life, knowing that God will be with you. He will guard and protect you in your life. And listen, just give all of our worries, our cares to him, because the Bible says that he cares for you specifically, personally. So we've got to believe that and hold on to that in Jesus' name. God bless you. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. See you next year.